Hi, my name is Maya, and we're going to talk about manifestation in a practical sense. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen where people succeed and I've seen where people fail. I've succeeded and I failed, and I want to tell you all about what that looks like. And at the end, I'm going to give you my structure for successful manifestation and how to stay anchored in the flow of everything so that you don't lose steam and you are actually successful in this process. So I've been in the spiritual coaching manifestation woo-woo world for a while now. And so today I want to talk about the practical aspects of manifestation, of creating your own reality, what that looks like when you're not kind of like flying high on it, and how it just becomes an integrated part of everyday life and what that actually looks like based on my experience. So lots of people start out on this journey. They hear, okay, my thoughts create my reality, and they get really excited about that most of the time. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to think my way into $1 million. And they go down rabbit holes, whatever, The Secret or Abraham Hicks or Think and Grow Rich or whatever the avenue is. And they start to learn about these things and they see some results and they start to, they notice the synchronicities. They start to listen to the language of the universe, of the divine and the way that it plays with us. And it gets really exciting. And then something interesting happens because there's a roadblock that happens for everybody. And the roadblock happens when you start asking for the big thing, whatever the shiny big thing is, the amount of money or the car or the person or the house or the job. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't come in. And all of those fun little synchronicities will lose a lot of their steam. They don't seem quite as tantalizing anymore if big stuff isn't going to come just as easily. And a lot of people in the manifestation world say it's as easy to manifest a penny as it is a Ferrari. Manifestation is the same. It doesn't need any more work to manifest one or the other. But there is a difference in the mindset, which is all what manifestation is. It's the mindset of, am I ready for this? Do I deserve this? Am I worthy of this? Is this a reality? Do I have beliefs that this actually isn't going to work? And that last one is what gets people stuck. It's not the manifesting something big that's the issue. It's the belief that you can't or that you can. Now in my life, I've ridden the waves. I get it. I have felt deep flow and knowing and trust, and I have felt so scared and so unsure and so unconfident and like such an imposter in this world. And the trick is to continue knowing that the wave will have an ebb and a flow. And it's supposed to be that way. A lot of times we think we know what's best, but really, manifestation, when you're doing it well, is about surrendering your own expectations and your own needs and allowing the pause to happen or allowing the unexpected thing to happen. Because the beginning of manifestation is, I want this and I want to see the results. The later forms of manifestation, you start to understand, I have to release what I think I want in order to truly get what I need, to truly get what is best for me. And a lot of people can't shift through that. A lot of people's egos say, no, 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 my choice. I want what I want. And yes, that's fun for a little while, but ultimately, I want what I want is not going to get you those big, shiny things because those aren't the things that are the best for you. The things that are the best for you only line up when you get out of the way. So when we effort and push towards manifestation, we stay in the way of those bigger things. All right, so now we're going to talk about my structure of manifestation. And I've taught this to a lot of different people, and most people have like a light bulb moment where they're like, oh, I get it. That's what I was missing. So I formulated it as a triangle. Call it the manifestation triangle. And it's a triangle because no side is more important than the other one. It's something that doesn't have a start or an end, and we're just constantly bouncing between the three sides. The three sides are frequency, action, and surrender. Frequency is the thing that most people are talking about when it comes to manifestation. They're talking about the visualization. They're talking about the vision board. They're talking about getting into inner alignment with what you're trying to call in. Those are all huge. Those are all super important. The vibration, the frequency, we love that. And a lot of people think that that's it. That's the whole formula. Think about it, visualize it, affirmations in the mirror, and it'll be yours. Sometimes, but a lot of times the follow through on that, the consistency on that, and like the true deep subconscious belief in that falls a little bit short. So the other two spaces in the triangle help to keep it going. The second space in this triangle, second corner, is action. People have been manifesting through action forever. That's like, what most people think of as the way to get what you want is through action, through working for it, through asking for it, through hustling. That's a technical form of manifestation. You can call in and create a life that you want through action alone. But it takes a lot of effort. And it doesn't have the harmony and the conversation with the universe, with spirit, with the divine that makes manifestation really fun. Action manifestation, not super fun when it's standalone like that. It gets exhausting and it gets tedious. And a lot of it is just focused in the physical realm, which is fine. And like, yeah, you can get that car if you want that car. But is there a more fun and playful way of calling in what you want while still taking the action to get it? So between the frequency and the action, you have two of the pieces, and those can interact super beautifully together. You think about what you want, you get into alignment with it, you take the action, and then you think about what you want and you take the action. And that's sustainable for a little while. But the piece that hands down is everybody's least favorite, most challenging part, but equally as important in the triangle of manifestation is surrender. We're not good at that as humans. In this world, we're pretty bad at surrender, and surrender can be a scary word. It can be kind of off-putting because it's the opposite of control. Boy, do we love control. I get it. I love control too. We all love knowing what we need to do, how we're going to get something, where we need to go, exactly what it's going to look like. That is very safe. It's really safe for the mind and for the ego to have control over everything. And that's why a lot of us are in the predicament of not being very happy in life, feeling really burnt out, feeling exhausted, feeling like it's constantly hustling to get anything that you want. And I don't know about you, but I got really tired of that. And I had my Saturn return when I was like 29 years old. And I said, screw this. I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to hustle and exhaust myself forever to get what I want. And part of the process then that I went through was surrendering my concepts of the things that I wanted. Surrendering the identification with specific outcomes. Surrendering the how of getting from point A to point B. And boy, that's really tough for the mind. I still struggle with it. Almost everybody struggles with it. And that's always the biggest hurdle in manifestation, is we love the A to B road. We love, I'm starting here and I'm getting there and that's my manifestation. And it can be, but the surrender is the hardest part and also the most incredible, magical part of this whole formula. Through surrender, you open up this doorway of saying, I'm open to help. I'm open to miracles. I'm open to the things that I never would have been able to think of on my own. I'm open to things coming into my life unexpectedly. If it's only visualization and action, then you create this really narrow view of what is possible and what you allow in. Yes, you can allow yourself to manifest within that limited range and become really successful in it. But when you bring in the element of surrender, your range for what you can open up to becomes much wider. So your receiving is going to become something that feels more spectacular, more awe-inducing, more wonderful. And it also gives you time to rest. Surrender needs to be an active component in all of this. Surrender doesn't just happen when we're sleeping. Surrender is something that we breathe through, that we move ourselves through just as intentionally as you move yourself through the action, or just as intentional as any visualization or meditation that you might do. So what does this look like practically? How do you implement this in your life? How have I implemented it in my life? And I've done it many, many times successfully. And also, I've hit roadblocks just like any of us do, where the action feels hard, or the visualization or belief, it feels really sticky, or the surrender feels almost impossible. But this is how it could go. This is how it has looked and how it can look for you. The first thing that you want to do is notice what it is that you're calling in. And as always with manifestation and with frequency in general, you want to be calling in the feeling, the emotion, not the external shiny thing. So you notice, oh, I'm feeling lack. I'm feeling like I don't have something. Let's say I'm feeling like I'm tired of being single and I want a partner. Okay. Then the frequency is to not focus on the lack of partner, but to focus on what it would feel like to have deeply nourishing partnership in your life. And you sit and you feel it and you visualize it and you allow yourself to breathe through it. And every time a piece of doubt comes up or a piece of fear comes up, you just breathe and you try to stay in that place of what would it feel like to be deeply held within a relationship with another person? What would it feel like to be nourished by another, to be wanted and seen and admired by another person? And you feel that all within yourself. And then you move into action. And you go out to a library or a coffee shop or a concert, or you get on a dating app and you start to take action by talking to people. You feel people out. And then maybe you go back up to frequency for a minute because the action kind of freaked you out. And so you gotta realign, right? You back up. You don't have to go linearly. You back up and you center back in. And then you detach. You let go of the need for it to be right now. You let go of the need for it to be this exact type of person. It's okay to have standards and expectations and things that are non-negotiables. But the more limited you bring your view, the less opportunity there is for those little sparks of unexpected inspiration to come in. And you surrender and you think about something else. And you truly allow yourself to be okay with the not having it. And then you go back into action and you go out and interact with people. And then you come back and you align to the belief and you remember what it would feel like. And then you surrender and you let it go. And you just play in this. It's a dance. You just play in these different places until you feel so clear in what it is that you want and how you want to feel specifically. And you feel so detached from the fear, the lack, the not having it. And you feel easeful in taking the action steps. It's not from a point of desperation, but it's just a point of this is how I live my life as I open myself up through action to be available for whatever there is. And that's process. And it's the same process with a job, with money, with any family members. It's the same job with a house or car or your health. It's the same across everything. It is a dance. It's playing. It's having a back and forth conversation with spirit. Let me know if this felt like a helpful framework for you. I can answer more questions. Leave them in the comments below if you have any questions. And if you're interested in more things like this, feel free to subscribe to this channel. I share lots about spirit and psyche and intentionally living, sometimes through vlogs and some homesteading and family content, and then sometimes through these more informative videos. My background is as a therapist and a spiritual life coach, and so I love to talk about all of these different aspects of how we can play in this human existence. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.